Good evening. Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine. I'm about to give a really unpopular opinion, and I'm sure it's going to be especially unpopular amongst women.
I'm Gray Mars. Break a record by being with 100 men in one day. And right after she was done, she recorded a documentary.
I'm a vegan weed. Call yourself fresh and wear the same weak ass turtleneck on every show. Goddamn. Then we got goddamn the Sudanese Sambo. Bruh, man.
And I'm Enzo. Bringing up in my lives is they're like, oh well, he's violating the Constitution by having a meme coin and him making money off it in office and everything like that. I was like, if that was the case, like there would be lawsuits up the ass and impeachment inquiry.
I'm skeptic. Like I always say, don't let anybody trample on your constitutional rights.
I'm Mia. That's not a correct power dynamic in my mind. Typically, the people that are trying to be removed are not in control. That's why they're easily being removed.
The government, states, they start putting these RICO acts on Diddy, all of these guys, and try to put it on these ongoing criminal organizations. I ain't never seen the government put a RICO act on the KKK.
Switch happened. Come on, man. You got to acknowledge this. This is the problem that I have with elders like you, because you fail to acknowledge that this stuff has happened.
If we sit there and be old school, we gonna miss the boat. You know, a lot of this kids 19 years old buying houses with Bitcoin, buying Maserati.
Wow.
I think when it comes to the woman, if a man takes charge and he shows that he's logical,
same people. That's number two. That's all theater. This is WWF.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Party. Why I like the new party? Number one, it's a group of people that's on a panel. We all have differences, but we all basically still come together at the end of the day. The new party for me is about unity. The new party for me is about educating people to the truth, letting people know what's been going on in our country. With that being said, shout out to the new party, man. We're going to keep it going with y'all.
Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Mia.
I'm Enzo.
I'm Kamal.
And tonight on the new party, we will be having a jam-packed show. We will be having some history lessons. We got to take it all the way back to the 1800s tonight, people. But that's okay, because we're going to be talking about the Constitution and some acts and laws, because I feel like we got to remind people what the foundation of this country is. But the first clip of the night are why are Democrats losing voters? We're going to answer that tonight. Right now, a Political article came out that said Democrats are losing voters at a record rate. And there seems to be a question why it's happening. Unfortunately, Democrats also are losing money, they're saying. So we're going to break that down tonight. So I'm going to play this clip and it explains it.
More than 2 million voters have left the party in the space of 4 years, according to the New York Times. Analyst Michael Prusa suggested that this isn't just a dip, but a potential death spiral for the Democrats. He said, "I don't want to say the death cycle of the Democratic Party, but there seems to be no end to this." Wow. And you have to wonder why the Democrats are losing so many registered voters when they've had talent as exceptional as this.
Dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
We've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making.
Yeah, America fiercely rejected those two after the damage they caused to America. But what about the next generation of brilliant minds coming through the Democratic Party?
If it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, maybe it's a duck.
Democratic socialist. Do you think that billionaires have a right to exist?
I don't think that we should have billionaires.
Yes, AOC and Mamdani. Well, according to this expert analysis on MSNBC, these are the brave leaders who are destined to take the party forward.
Why are Democrats not, why are the polls bad? Why are they not breaking through? And I think it's a couple things. I think one is the people who are breaking through are brave, right? They talk like humans, they make the case, you know, and again, it's like Pritzker's chief of staff told me, it's not necessarily left versus center, it's fight versus cave. And the people who fight get support. And the people who cave or are mealy-mouthed or are, you know, very sort of corporatist-y, that crew, the crew that's afraid, cannot break through, does not appeal to voters. The question is, it's only going to be for people who really feel authentic, right?
Sure has never been a...
Why are Democrats losing voters? I'm going to go to our resident Democrat. Gray, why are you guys losing voters?
The Democrats have been the popular party for like over 30 years. So you've seen the Republican Party, I would say MAGA, change like drastically. So like, what's their messaging going to be if Trump is pro-weed and pro, you know, different things that would be normally Democratic policies? The younger generation is probably going to most likely identify with MAGA as far as like being progressive or being in the middle.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. Skeptic, do you believe these numbers? Do you believe people are leaving in droves like the reports are saying?
I think it's funny because I think that there is this thing that's happening where people want these short, cut down, dumbified clips of politics. And I think that it has nothing to do with qualifications because AOC has a double major. I've said this before. She's a very educated woman. Kamala Harris was way more qualified than this current man that's in office now, especially looking at all of his history and everything that he has carried with him that's baggage. So I don't think qualifications matter. I think it's more of like, are you cool or not? We're seeing it with Gavin Newsom where he has these, you know, he's firing back and he's like doing these cute little clips and people are eating it up. So I think if anything, it shows a reflection of America, how they don't want the information. They want you to dumb it down for them and tell them, you know, red man bad, blue man good. Like, so I think that it's a new thing that we have to kind of accommodate for the new generation. And I also think that Democrats tend to have more of a diversity in thought. And so if they don't agree with you, they will just come out and say, I disagree with this. And they'll stand strong to that. When a lot of conservatives, whether or not they agree with it, they're like in this cultish type of mindset. They're still going to stick through with the party.
Oof, that cultish mindset, man. Mia, what's your thoughts? Why do you think that the Democrats are losing voters?
I mean, it's probably a combination of everything. It could just be the way that we are heading for the country's in like really tough financial strains right now. So we're always going to head into an austerity type of place where conservatism naturally is going to rise up above anything else. But I think a lot of it is the messaging. Democrats have terrible messaging. So you have a bunch of people that have all these master's degrees, but they can't, but like you say, dumb it down, you have to dumb it down. You need to make it palatable for the masses. And Democrats are they're almost overeducated to the point where they lord their little degrees over you and they say, I have this degree, bitch, I don't care. Like, I literally don't care. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You have a degree, you can't build a house. You have a degree, you can't do a garden. You have a degree, you can't fish. You have a degree, you can't hunt. You have a degree, you literally cannot survive at this point in time. And I think the country understands that nobody wants to be lorded over by people that hug their degrees but literally have not accomplished anything. It's like, okay, you've accomplished $250,000 worth of debt. What do you have to show for it?
Hey, I got that $150,000 worth of debt. Guys, our main guest of the night has just arrived. We will continue this conversation. Brad Kohler. I'm going to play this clip. You guys may know him from his UFC career, and we'll introduce him. Let's go.
And today, I would like to introduce you to my haymaker.
So, guys, I'm excited to welcome Brad Kohler. He is running for governor of Minnesota against Tim Walz. I had to remember because I saw you were running for commissioner at first. Brad, thank you for joining. How are you doing this evening?
Good. I'm so sorry. I thought I had another hour to get home and get in my office here, and I didn't know it was Eastern time. My bad. I get so many emails and stuff, and I should have read better, but sorry about that, guys.
No, it's all good. You made it, so I'm excited to have you. I hope you don't mind. We had to go back and dig in the crates for the, top UFC clips. Can you tell us about your UFC career and how you got into politics? I'm sure the fans would be interested in that.
Well, I got into the fighting. I was a wrestler, and I was training for the U.S. team. And my wife had left me and my daughter, and I was struggling as a McDonald's manager and trying to train for the U.S. team. And the fighting kind of came up all of a sudden, just hey, you're one of the top wrestlers. Would you be interested in fighting for a bunch of money and a world title? And so I did, and did very well. First year or so, I did extremely well, and you just kind of then got into pro wrestling a little bit, and pushing forward to politics, I became a businessman. I invented my own boxing products. I learned how to weld. You saw me punching my boxing products I invented. I sell those all over the world. I wrote a couple books. The last one I just released was called Built for This, meaning built for running for governor. Yeah, I've been through the legal system, been through the welfare system. I've been broke, homeless, and hungry, and I've been through it a lot. Shot, stabbed, lived through a blood disorder that was supposed to kill me, and then also a plane crash that impaled me and ripped out my stomach and intestines, and almost cut my leg off. And so a lot of things that kind of brought me to this point where, I always thought, well, what am I here for? Why did I live through all these things? Then COVID hit, And 2 of my children were on scholarships for college. And of course, my businesses were shut down, my manufacturing, my gyms, my restaurant. And then my kids, they couldn't attend college unless they got that COVID shot. And I was just more upset about that than I was the business being shut down. And, we're in Minnesota, and the 4 states around us weren't shut down. You had North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, and Wisconsin, of course. And they had no mask mandates. They had no shutdowns. They had no curfews. So during the COVID, we had the George Floyd riots here as well. So then we had the curfews on top of it all. So it really affected our businesses here. And I thought there was a lot of bad decisions being made. And I don't know if what happened to Minneapolis should have happened. I don't know if the shutdown should have happened. I just thought, well, who's making all these decisions and why? And I just wanted to be in that room when they were making them and find out how they're making these decisions, And so that's how I got involved. I reached out to my friend Jim Jordan in Ohio, which is where I'm from. I don't know if you guys all know who Jim Jordan is or not, congressman from Ohio. And I said, Jim, I'm running for governor. He says, it's a lot to bite off on your first time in, Brad. I'm like, oh, okay. So I ran for Senate, ran for Congress, and then county commissioner. And I got in really to learn what it entitles to, what it entails to be a public servant. How do you help the people? And the one thing I found out about all 3 of those elected positions was none of them can do nothing. There's no power there. And so I'm like, how do you help the people? So I said, well, my first choice was correct. Governor, here in Minnesota. I don't know how you guys feel about Tim Walz. If you're a fan, I'm sorry that you feel that way. But he's been very disruptive and embarrassing to our state. We went from an $18 billion surplus to an $8 billion deficit right now. And there's just a lot of bad business going on in Minnesota. And I thought, well, I got some really good people around me. And I thought that, if I get in, learn how to help people, which is what I really want to do, unite people. It's not about being for Republican or Democrat. It's about helping the people of Minnesota. That was my mission. So I decided to announce in December of 24 that I'm now running for governor. And so now I am.
Okay, that's awesome, especially because you guys were at the epicenter of what popped off in 2020, so that makes sense. I'm going to allow our founder, Gray Mars, to ask the first question.
So thank you for coming, Brad. So our president is a celebrity, or he was a celebrity before he became a politician. And basically, I don't know if you're a celebrity, but you were a professional fighter. What about being a celebrity or a professional fighter makes you qualified to be a politician?
Well, I never like to call myself a politician. I want to be a public servant. Politicians are people who go party line. They're either right or left. You can pick your choice. They go party line and they follow the party plan. And regardless of what is good for the people, they may not go that way. And I don't know if you want to call it establishment as opposed to grassroots, but where I'm different is if it's not good for the people, I'm not going to do it. So as far as being I don't want to say celebrity, I was a public figure and then became a public servant. I kind of like to look at it that way because, I actually go down and feed the homeless with my catering company. I mentor the felons. I coach kids. I try to do the things that a true leader should do for the people that need a helping hand up. So I don't need people's money. I'm not one of those kind of people that are out there begging for donations. I try to offer opportunities to people and help them and mentor them through a better life through, kind of like, you ever get people go, you know what you should do, you know what you ought to do. Well, I don't do that. I'm like, what do you want to do? How do you think you should go about that? Let's sit down and make your plan. So politicians are the ones who basically just do what the public may not need, and it never fixes anything. So we have politicians in office that have no accolades. They're not known for doing anything and have done nothing, but yet they keep getting elected. I think you all agree with me. That happens on both sides.
Yep. No, I agree.
That was my one question.
I'm going to allow Kamal Johnson to ask the next question.
It was good, Brad. I usually have multiple questions, but since I guess we short on time, I got only one question. How did you feel about the George Floyd situation? What was your stance on that since it happened in Minnesota?
It was a horrible situation that should have never happened. We had a cop that probably shouldn't have been on the police force. We had George handcuffed and was never turned over. We had a lot of things there that were just wrong, and it was a tragedy. And the Republicans don't like me for many reasons. And Alpha News here in Minnesota, who are for the police, which it's not that I'm against the police. I'm for the truth and I'm for justice. The problem with justice is we have injustice in our justice system. And I'm very in touch with the Black community. I went to an all-Black college. My oldest son is Black. I am endorsed by the Black community, and it's not that I'm Black. I don't know what goes on all the time, but I'll tell you this: when you have situations like this that happen, I think that we need to come together as not just spiritual leaders, but community leaders, and say, how do we not tear apart a city? How do we make this work without doing that? And there just wasn't enough cool heads prevailing. And so we actually found out, in fact, that there are hired people coming in from other cities helping with the riots. Now, we should have been with the communities, with the families, showing our support of this horrible tragedy and tried to come to a peaceful resolution. But to tear down a city, it never gets anyone anywhere. There's people's homes, Black and white homes, still destroyed that they can't move into, and the businesses down there. So to me, this was just a horrible situation that I think could have been prevented with better leadership.
Wow, that's a great answer. Thank you. So what college did you go to? I'm just curious because you said you went to a Black college.
Langston University.
Okay. Kamal, you ever heard of it?
No.
Me either.
Langston, Oklahoma.
Is it a HBCU?
Langston University in Langston, Oklahoma.
Okay. Mia, I'm going to allow you to ask the next question.
Hi, thanks for coming on the panel. We greatly appreciate it. I don't know anybody else on the panel, but I have been to Minnesota multiple times. I absolutely love Minnesota. I've spent a lot of time up in Lake Superior, up in the Iron Mountains, and I have a lot of friends up there, and they wanted me to ask you how you feel about the new proposed nickel mining that they're trying to get started. And how do you feel about the taconite mining? Because mining in Minnesota is very large, especially up in the Iron Range. So how do you feel about that?
Well, it's not large. That's the problem. They've reduced it quite a bit, and it's costing the Minnesota people a lot of money. From research that's just shown as of today, actually, we have over $4 trillion in gold, mine, nickel, iron ore, and emeralds in the Iron Range that are not being mined. And my plan is to help people get their percentage of that. So it's like a weekly or a monthly income, and their profits. There's a share profit from those mines. There's $4 trillion in those grounds. So we need to do it safely and eco-friendly. But That's a lot of money, can help a lot of people. And so what needs to happen is we need to bring in 150 to 200 businesses that mine for the state of Minnesota. Hiring 60,000 people is what it's going to take. And that 60,000 people, average is $100,000 a year plus for salaries. That'll bring an extra $60 billion a year in income tax to the state of Minnesota, which will help reduce not just property taxes and income tax, sales tax, what have you. This is one of the revenue streams that I want to do to help and reinvest in Minnesota. So if we have that money in there and we're making all this money, the people of Minnesota should get a profit sharing program with that. And that's how I feel.
Awesome. Thank you.
I mean, wouldn't you like an extra check every month for the iron ore and the precious metals that we have in the ground? It's Minnesota. That's our property. That's our minerals.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a great point. Skeptic, what's your question?
Yeah, so if you were voted in as a governor, would you support legislation that would basically pay out for reparations to the Black community?
You know, I have a different plan for reparations, okay? And talking to the Black leaders, I mean, I'm down in their churches every Sunday. I can give you their names. I'm down there every Sunday talking to them. I have we have as governments that bribe all of our communities, especially the Black community. My plan is to not bribe, of course, but actually have a influx of a lot of money that can help build opportunities for each community. And I presented this to them. They go, this is a lot of money. Yeah, $300 million is a lot of money that can create a lot of jobs, a lot of businesses, a lot of education, a lot of scholarships, a lot of programs that we can do, and not put a Band-Aid on a leaky boat. We need to fix this as communities. And then when we can incentivize people to open up their business and help them, mentor them, fund them, it'll bring a lot more money to the community. So it's not so much about reparations. It's about offering those opportunities for not just this generation, but for the generations to come.
No, I agree. So to answer it though, you don't think there should be like a necessarily like clear reparations plan, but you would want to put a plan together that you think would trickle down and benefit the Black community. Am I understanding that correctly?
Absolutely. I think this is a better than reparations. It's like saying, hey, here's some money for what happened in the past. Hey, how about we throw a lot of money to fix the future? I mean, I understand. I mean, what we're talking about here, but when I can do a lot better with a lot more, that's what's going to help the Black community, not just say, here's some money, see you later, bye. How about we work together for a clear, profitable, brighter future where your community grows and prospers and again, for generations to come. I mean, I just think that we start living in the past. That step, we keep staying on that step till it never ends. What we need to do is really focus on the future. Everybody's happier when things are going good, when everybody's making money and things are going good. There's food on the table. There's more than lint in your pockets. We need to put people, productive in good environments, rebuild Minneapolis, rebuild Minnesota in those communities where, again, it's like, hey, a one-time reparation is one thing, but constant flow of money stream to help you and your children and grow and get to college and have a great education. I mean, doing things like that again, fixes generations. So it really is, you can call it a reparation, but for me, this is what needs to be done. It's an investment into the community to say, yeah, again, we can call it reparation, but this is more of an investment to say, let's look for a brighter future and make sure that the next generations will never have to be homeless and hungry.
Fair enough. Enzo, what's your question?
So Brad, thank you for coming. My question was, I was looking into the state of Minnesota as well. There's a lot of misfunding and underfunding for infrastructure in Minnesota. My question would be, how would you go about that and appropriate the funds correctly to have the infrastructure?
Well, that's probably the easiest question, because I tell you what, we have politicians in there, not businessmen. A businessman has a plan. They surround themselves with smarter people and say, let's make sure we cannot fail at this. Let's make sure we set benchmarks that are the right forecasting, so we're not have to come back in 6 months, go, hey, taxpayers, sorry, we screwed up. We need more money. We're raising taxes. We need to set the benchmarks accordingly, hold people accountable, make sure that we have people that know their jobs. And I'll tell you what, if you know your job and you sit there, hey, my estimation for this job is $500, and you go back to your customer and go, yeah, I kind of screwed up, it's $2,000. They're not going to be happy with you. And our customers are the people of Minnesota. So my goal would be, we set a plan, we set our benchmarks, we be very transparent with that on each benchmark and the end date and what it's going to cost, and never come back for more money. We got to make sure we forecast within that 10% give or take leeway, like you should in business.
All I heard.
For sure. This was great. I'm very excited to see how your race goes.
I got one more question. Actually, I got two.
Come on. We only doing one question, but Brad,
one question. I mean,
we only do. Everybody's only doing one question. Go ahead, Nora.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, Brad, can you give us your closing thoughts and let us know why you're the best candidate and the next steps in the race?
Well, I've worked very, very hard at focusing on community, the communities that we need to unite. We can't do this alone. We need to do it together. For me to put all the community leaders at the table with me is only a show of strength. And when we can make decisions together, I think that's when we're going to win together. If we stay separated and, like I said, keep putting Band-Aids on a leaky boat, or bribing communities, go, here's $800,000, go build your park. No, we need to fix things the proper way. The money is going to be there. I'm creating all these other revenue streams as opposed to just taxpayers kicking in. Right now, our well is not just empty, it's getting deeper. We're $8 billion in the hole, in the deficit, after they went through not just the budget, but the surplus. So for me to make sure that we have all the community leaders together, that we go and move into the future together, that's what's going to make us successful. You put the hands, or the power, in one person's hands, or the Senate hands, or the House of Representatives hands, nothing gets done because they fight between each other. What I want to do is, again, the House and the Senate, they're fine. They can battle back and forth. They can never agree on anything. But what I want to do is what the people need. And I believe I'm a man of the people. Like I said, I've been broke, homeless, hungry. I've been on the system, in the system, and I don't believe you can fix something unless you've been through it. Now, I constantly mentor people on how to, hey, I'm no illusional unicorn. If I can do it, you can do it. We all put our pants on one leg at a time. And so I want to inspire people that, hey, if you've been down, that's okay. I was a champion. It's not about, falling or slipping. It's about how fast you get up. So that's what I want to do. I want to inspire people that say, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. And to me, I think that's just a better future for our people here.
For sure. Well, closer to the race, we definitely need to bring you back, Brad. I thank you so much for coming, and I look forward to having you back on the show. I have so much in the future that we need to ask you. Can you let everybody know if they would like to donate, where they can go to?
Yeah, my website is bradkohler.com. Also, if you subscribe, it's not so much about donating. I'd love to hear your input. I'd love to hear from you. If you subscribe to my website, I personally respond to your email. You get my phone number, and we can chat. We can talk about it. If you got some great ideas that want to add to the, hey, Brad, I heard you this. What'd you think about this? I love putting more minds together. I think that that's really important to do. And I'm a humble enough person that know that I don't have all the answers, so I will listen.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for coming, Brad. And everyone go find Brad, give him a subscription, support him, and we'll definitely bring him back closer to the race.
Thank you so much, guys. You have a blessed night, okay?
You too, Brad. Blessings.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye-bye. Bye.
We gotta bring him back because I got more damn questions. Greg, you should have let me ask that question because I think Skeptic asked a throwaway question. You feel me? And I was gonna ask a question that I think she would want more of the answer.
I put my clarification in the comments, but I didn't want to like overstep. So
yeah, no, I got you. That's why it was a certain comment in the chat where I'm like, let me ask that question because Skeptic asked a question. I'm like, I usually ask that. You feel me? I knew what his answer was gonna be. He said his gut got blown out and he put it back in his stomach.
In all fairness, his state didn't have slavery though. Like they did not have slavery. So I mean, I hear you, but he won't be able to affect reparations around the country. He's not running for Senate. He's not running
that's
for Congress.
why I asked him in the way that I did, though. I asked him in the way because he, as a governor, he can either support a legislation, and the legislation could be being pushed for reparations, and that's why I asked it that way. Being that you're going to be a governor, that'll be your position. Would you support legislation pushing reparations forward?
Well, it's funny. You have a Democratic governor in Maryland where they did have slavery, and he doesn't support it. So, I mean, the thing is, the reality is, guys, I know y'all not gonna like to hear this, but reparations is a death topic sometimes for them. For candidates, especially as him running as a Republican, he will not win if he outright says we're gonna have a reparations plan running as a Republican candidate. That's the reality.
I don't give a fuck. That's the whole point. The point is we want policies straight for us. We tired of being on the back burner as Black Americans. So I'm gonna ask that Jeff question every fucking time. And I might throw in an anti-Black hate crime bill if I'm gonna ask for that.
I was gonna ask about the history of slavery, whether or not, since he's running as a Republican, that is the party that he's aligning himself with. But I think that one of the things that he said was that he went to an HBCU. I looked it up in Oklahoma, and he's saying that he has support from the Black community and named Black churches. And I think that being that you're standing on, that leg, then you're open for the questions from the Black community that would, either benefit or be detrimental to the Black community. And one being the outright attack on Black history here in America. And you're running as a Republican, right? So whether you like it or not, you are affiliated with the Republican Party.
Well, what I'll say first off, I thought Skeptic was joking. I thought she was making fun of Kamal. I thought it was funny when she said.
No, she wasn't joking at all. That's why I love the question. She was throwing me a lob. You feel me? She was and I was Michael Jordan.
Everybody wants to ask more than one question. So, I mean, we're going just with the format we feel like makes sense with the numbers and everything that's going to make sense. Enzo knows this person personally. So, we're trying to, make it where we can actually help the politician to a certain degree. But, yeah, go ahead, Nora.
Yeah, no worries. We'll bring him back. We'll have more time. Again, I'm thinking about the flow of the night. So we're going to move on to the next topic. Should flag burning be illegal? I'm going to play a clip and we can respond to it.
Condone the burning of any flag. Any flag. I think it's childish and it's just unnecessary. However, when President Trump signed this executive order into law yesterday, and it won't stand because the Supreme Court won't allow it to stand, but we have so many folks coming out and stating, well, it's your First Amendment right. If you want to burn your flag, go ahead and burn your flag. But I remember in 2020, and I think even into 2021, there were folks out that were protesting, and there were counter protesters, and the counter protesters burned a pride flag and a few of the other flags that they had out there. But they were arrested back then and charged in these liberal Democrat-run cities. But you can burn the American flag, no problem. You could burn the national ensign and our national colors, but these other flags were protected under the law. Where's the First Amendment right there? Well, what they did is they packaged this in their own way. And they said, well, we're going to run with our policy. And our policy says that if you burn these, we're going to call it a hate crime. Okay. Well, by you going out and stating that, that would mean that it could be punishable under the same law and crimes that you charge these other people with as a hate crime. Burning the American flag. Anti-Americans. Anti-American hate. I don't support or condone the burning of any flag. Any flag. I think it's childish and it's just unnecessary. However, when President Trump signed this executive order into law yesterday, and it won't stand because the Supreme Court won't allow it to stand, but we have so many folks coming out and stating, well, it's your First Amendment right. If you want to burn your flag, go ahead and burn your flag. But I remember in 2020.
Skeptic, you're funny. Anyways, Trump signed into law yesterday, or he signed an executive order, let me say, that flag burning will be illegal. Skeptic, Miss Queen of Don't Let Them Trample on Your Constitutional Rights. We are going to do a history lesson tonight, so you're going to love the show. What do you think about flag burning? Should it be illegal, Skeptic?
No, it shouldn't. And it's funny coming from the group of people. Gulf of America is crazy, Jessica. I'm just going to say Gulf of America on the shirt. Crazy. Anyways, it's funny because how do you stand on freedom of speech, but then want to go back on people having the right to burn the American flag? Here's the thing. During July the 4th, you see American flags on people's body everywhere, particularly white people tend to wear a lot of the American flag. So to sit there and then talk about, oh, the way that the flag colors, like we can't even wear the flag colors is crazy. And the flag is treated is like kind of like crazy to me. Also, the reason why with the pride thing, because it's a representation of a marginalized group. Like stop with the acting like you don't understand that. Like it's the same thing with why people, when they fly, they put a cross, right? Cross stands for Christianity, but the cross was used for racist, symbolic reasons also. Like stop with this acting like we don't understand when we clearly understand. I think that it should be protected under the First Amendment right. It is freedom of speech. We're not a country that doesn't allow our citizens to criticize the government. Like I see where this is going that way, where people cannot criticize this president on YouTube because then they want to come after you. We can't criticize Israel. Like it's crazy. And now we can't burn a flag as wild.
No, I agree with you, Skeptic. I don't like the direction of that. Enzo, I know you love Trump. You go on lives. You be defending it. I know they be beating you up. What do you think about
My
this
house
whole
says
flag?
United States of America.
Okay,
Love
no
the
more
United
MAGA.
States of America.
What happened to the MAGA
Hey,
hat,
hold on. Joke's on you. It's the 45 one.
Nancy Pelosi clap.
Anyways.
Enzo, what do you think about the flag burning?
I've been waiting for this one all day. I love it. 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 I've been saying it for months. You should not be able to burn the American flag. And I will stand on that hill and I will die on that hill all day long because at the end of the day, the American flag doesn't represent the government. You want to protest the government? Burn the seal of the president. Burn the seal of Congress. Burn the seal of whatever else. The American flag, in my eyes, as an American, stands for every single soldier that fought for your right to say, fuck the president. That I hate the government. That's what the American flag stands for me as an American. I don't agree that just because the people of Pride, the alphabet community, whatever, are a marginalized community, that it should make burning their flag a hate crime. What about Israel? Why can't we burn Israel's flag? They're not a marginalized community. They're a full-blown country, but it's illegal. It's a hate crime to do that. And this is the funny thing with everybody with this executive order. Everybody sees the headline and thinks it's going to get stricken down by the Supreme Court. Section 2 explicitly has the reason why in the executive order on why it won't be stricken down. So right here, of the burning the American flag directs the Attorney General to prioritize the persecution of enforcement of laws related to desecration of the flag and mandates vigorous enforcement against those who incite violence or violate existing laws while desecrating the flag, and refer to appropriate case to state or local law enforcement. So let's use the example of, I don't know, the peaceful protest of LA a couple months ago. That's in a company with another crime of rioting and looting. So therefore, that'll work. And that's the only time that anybody wants to go burn an American flag is when you want to make a statement while you're rioting and looting. So lock everybody up who burns an American flag.
Well, before the rest of the team responds, I'm going to play another clip regarding why it should possibly not be or be illegal. It's based on the Constitution. Let's watch this.
Conduct, but does it shield someone burning the American flag in protest? In Texas versus Johnson, the United States Supreme Court answered that question. In 1984, Gregory Lee Johnson participated in a protest of the Republican National Convention. Outside the Dallas City Hall, Johnson doused an American flag with kerosene and set it on fire. As the flag burned, protesters chanted, quote, "America, the red, white, and blue, we spit on you," unquote. Johnson was charged with desecration of a venerated object under Texas law. The trial court convicted Johnson, fining him $2,000 and sentencing him to 1 year in prison. The Court of Appeals for the 5th District of Texas affirmed. However, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals reversed, concluding that Johnson's punishment violated the First Amendment. The United States Supreme Court accepted the case to determine whether states could criminalize burning the American flag. The court concluded that flag burning is expressive conduct protected by the First Amendment. As a result, state laws criminalizing flag burning were content-based speech restrictions that didn't survive constitutional scrutiny. Writing for a 5-justice majority, Justice Brennan concluded that the First Amendment protected flag burning because it contained a sufficient level of communication. By burning the flag, Johnson intended to convey a particular message, and it was likely that anyone who witnessed his conduct would understand that message. For First Amendment purposes, the government has more leeway in regulating expressive conduct than it does in regulating written or spoken words. When speech and non-speech elements are combined in a single course of conduct, a sufficiently important governmental interest in regulating the non-speech element can justify an incidental limitation on First Amendment freedoms. To qualify for this more lenient standard, the state has to assert an interest unrelated to the suppression of expression. Texas asserted 2 possible interests to justify Johnson's punishment. First, flag burning caused breaches of the peace. Second, Texas wanted to preserve the flag as a symbol of national unity. The first interest wasn't implicated in Johnson's case. Texas admitted that no actual breach of the peace occurred. The second interest was directly related to Johnson's political message and therefore didn't qualify for the more lenient standard. Because the restriction on Johnson's speech was content-based, the court subjected Texas's asserted interest to the most exacting constitutional scrutiny. Under that scrutiny, the state's interest in preserving the flag as a symbol of national unity didn't justify Johnson's punishment. The court didn't object to Texas's goal, only its means. Preserving the flag as a symbol of national unity was a legitimate state interest that could support laws regulating how the flag may be displayed. But it couldn't justify criminal punishment for burning the flag. The ideal way to preserve the flag's special role in society was not by punishing those who express contrary views, but by attempting to persuade them with further dialogue. Therefore, the court affirmed the judgment of the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, holding that the First Amendment barred criminal punishment for burning the American flag in protest. Justice Kennedy concurred, opining that while he found flag burning distasteful, the facts and applicable law compelled the majority's result. Chief Justice Rehnquist, joined by Justices White and O'Connor, dissented. Rehnquist argued that Johnson had many ways of making his point, and that Texas law criminalized just one of them.
So, all right, guys, I'm going to let one of the smartest people up here tonight answer. Is flag burning unconstitutional? Mia, what's your thoughts based on that clip and what you know?
Flag burning is a freedom of expression protected by the First Amendment. I mean, the Supreme Court made it extremely clear. If we start punishing people for their thoughts, then we might as well just call ourselves China 2.0. I mean, we can't be a country where people aren't allowed to express themselves. I mean, symbolically, whatever, dude. I mean, we're at the point where we can't keep suppressing people's thoughts, people's actions, or anything like that. Like, if you want to burn the flag, do I agree with it? Absolutely not. I think it's disgusting. However, if that is your symbolic First Amendment freedom of speech, you should be able to do that and to protest. I mean, this is crazy at this point in time. It's the First Amendment, and we're allowed that.
Fair enough. Kamal, what's your thoughts on flag burning? Should it be illegal? Is it unconstitutional? What do you think?
I mean, they said it's unconstitutional, but at the end of the day, them motherfuckers dumb as fuck to buy something that they're gonna burn. I think that's just retarded. You buying the shit, then you burning it. Retardation at its finest. Hey, and I ain't mad at it if you throw their ass in jail for 30 days or some bullshit like that. Go to some other country and burn their flag. They gonna chop your ass off and feed it to you. They gonna be like, you want fish fillet ass? Here you go. Burning our damn flag. I don't know. Sometimes we be soft on shit. I ain't gonna lie. You feel me? You know what I mean? And I don't like it because my Black American sister helped create the design of the goddamn flag itself. Okay? Is it unconstitutional? No, but is people really following the Constitution like that? Some people, I feel like people do it like the Quran. By the way, Valentina Gomez, her stupid ass burnt the damn Quran. Y'all see that with the flamethrower and shit? Yeah. We burning shit over here, I guess.
I know who you're talking about. It.
And because someone in the comments said you couldn't burn the Quran in America. Yes, you can. And you can burn the Bible. And you can burn the flag. Also, for you in the comments that said the person that I saw the video, the same video you're talking about, he was like a ex-military man and he was in front of the White House and he got arrested. I feel like if anything, if you've served this country, you have the right. I feel like we all have the right under the Constitution, but particularly for those that have fought for our country, if you feel that what you fought for is not being represented in the administration that is, controlling the country, I feel like you have the full right to burn the flag.
Gray, you didn't go yet. What's your thoughts? Is this freedom of speech or against the law?
It's freedom of speech. Skeptic was talking about the military. The military does a lot of stuff with flags. You have to fold a flag a certain way. You have to hold a flag a certain way. So, of course, they're gonna, be like more sensitive about how you're supposed to represent the American flag. But I was under the assumption since a kid that you couldn't burn the American flag, that you would go to jail. So I feel like a lot of people assumed that you couldn't do it. So I do feel like this is government overreach because if you probably did a poll, most people probably would have already thought that this was illegal.
Hey, Gray, you know what I learned as a kid? What you couldn't burn?
What?
Money.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Is that illegal?
I think you can't. It's technically, I don't know. What I heard though, it is illegal to.
Yeah, you can't destroy United States currency at all. Like it's a federal crime.
Wow. There you go. Wow, that's crazy, y'all.
Is it because do they consider that the currency like their property? Is that they don't even like consider it our money anymore? They automatically know it's going to go back to the system, so they're just preemptively calling it their money. Is that why?
Yes. I'm interested.
I'm looking it up right now to see what the
Yeah.
reasons are. Destroying or manipulating United States money is illegal under federal law, primarily because it undermines the integrity and trust in the currency
Yep.
system. The key reasons are illegal are, and then it gives me statutes.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, I learned something new tonight. So, the next topic we're going to get into, guys, is Trump sending troops across the country. Should Trump be allowed to send troops to the states? This first clip breaks it down with the latest announcement that he's doing.
Chicago desperately needs help. Just look at the crime statistics.
Right now at 11, is the National Guard headed to Chicago, and could Oakland and San Francisco be next? Tonight, more talk of sending federal troops into more cities. Cities, as the president says, need help. But do they really?
As the president makes more plans and threats, California is embroiled in a lawsuit against the Trump administration over the deployment of troops. Could this have an impact on other cities? Here's NBC's Gia Vang.
We may just go in and do it, which is probably what we should do. They need help badly. Chicago desperately needs help.
That was the moment today. The president saying Chicago is likely the next target to send in National Guard troops. They're already in Washington, D.C., and today President Trump signed executive orders to further his efforts to combat crime in Democratic-controlled cities. That includes Oakland. The town's mayor, Barbara Lee, speaking out about it at a Democratic National Committee summer meeting in Minnesota today.
Donald Trump is just downright wrong about Oakland. Like he's wrong about all the other cities that he trashed.
She told the audience violent crime is down 29%, homicides fell 21%, and the rate of vehicle thefts down 45%. Most recently, as last week, the president also suggested troops could straighten out San Francisco.
Now you look at what the Democrats have done to San Francisco. They've destroyed it. We can clean that up, too. We'll clean that one up, too.
San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie responded tonight with what he has said, that in part, safe and clean streets are our top priority, and the results are clear. Crime is at its lowest point in decades. Visitors are coming back, and San Francisco is on the rise. California is still in the middle of a federal lawsuit asking a judge to determine if the president broke a federal law when he sent troops to L.A. in June to engage in civilian law enforcement. That ruling still hangs in the balance, with motions filed just today. A hearing is scheduled for mid-September, and Santa Clara University constitutional law professor Margaret Russell said she doubts there will be a decision issued then. But when there is, she said it all depends how it could impact the rest of the nation.
In terms of precedent, it won't have precedent for those other cities and cases, but they can be parallel arguments in different parts of the country in different federal courts that could then be subject to U.S. Supreme Court review.
What if the Supreme Court takes up this California case? Russell says there are roads that lead to that scenario. She said the decision from the highest court would involve the Constitution, which would then impact the cities that President Trump is threatening to deploy troops in. Gia Vang, NBC, Bay Area News.
All right, Kamal, I'm going to let you go first because your state was the first state this year that we sent troops to. What's your thoughts on him sending troops to Chicago, and how did you feel when they came to your state?
All right, so I'm about to put my tinfoil kufi on real quick, and this is what I think we're really doing, y'all. So I looked up the places he's sending the troops to. Crime is actually down, right? Yes. But it's hard to get shit passed legislatively, especially due to the Democrats, because when you start talking about illegal immigrants and he's sending feds for the illegal immigrants,
hell break loose.
Oh my goodness. So now he just flowering it up saying crime, which we know is synonymous for Black Americans, right? Easily get the troops in there. Troops gonna be coming in there like, damn, crime over here, but Consuelo over here illegal as fuck. Okay, well, let's do something. Shit. So they gonna start. I'm telling y'all, I think that's what's happening. I don't know if this is true, but that's why I'm putting my tinfoil kufi on, and that's what I think is going to be the long play. This is just an easy way to get the troops in there without having so much pushback from a certain political party.
You're going to see the other clip I'm going to play, Kamal. Your tinfoil kufi hat was right. Gray, what's your thoughts on him sending all these troops for crime? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And they're coming to our state. So what do you think?
I think Trump is using crime as like a shield, and like Kamal said, it's kind of like towards black people. And the analogy I'll use is that people fear sharks, and sharks of vaporous. And if you don't know what that means that they hatch the eggs in the mother's uterus. And before, when they come out, sometimes the sharks don't match the amount of eggs that come out. And that's because of cannibalism. So basically, sharks start killing each other before they even are born into the world. And that's how black sharks look. They kill each other in their neighborhoods. And so they're feared because they're like the sharks. And then you got like killer whales and dolphins and fishermen that fear the shark.
Oh man, Mia, that was an interesting analogy. Sharks, whales, tinfoil kufi hats. We got a lot going on. Mia, what's your thoughts? Sorry, I'm sorry. Kamal, you're making me laugh. What's your thoughts?
No.
I don't think she's there.
No, she said she was. Okay, never
I
mind.
am. I'm here. I'm just listening.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest. I had to step away from my phone and then I came back and all I heard was something about sharks eating their young and you tied it into black people and I was very, very confused. I just like came into the tail end of this conversation. I was like real confused, buddy. Confused.
So, do you want me to explain it?
What type of sharks is it, bro? Is it the great white? Is it the killer whale?
You guys know this? The sharks have a certain breeds of sharks where they have babies. They have the eggs. They don't even hatch the eggs. The eggs are broken up and they are in the uterus, and they eat each other. As soon as they come into the world, they eat each other before they are even hatched into the world. So when you look at black culture and black society, they're killing each other young. So you're going to have other groups that look at them and say, okay, wow, this group, they may not be killing us, but they're killing each other. I don't want them in my community. So fear. What I'm saying is fear. That was my analogy.
Damn.
Mia, are you ready to go? You want me to play the clip? Are you still trying to figure out the shark? You've done ran me away. Jesus.
Mia said bye.
Mia said bye. Okay, I'm gonna play this clip and ready to put the tinfoil hat on now again.
Overwhelmed. I think the federal government is literally out of control.
Now at 5 o'clock, President Trump is planning to send 1,700 National Guard troops to 19 states, including Indiana. The latest step as the Trump administration's nationwide crackdown on immigration ramps up across the United States. Thanks for joining us tonight at 5. I'm Dan Spieler.
And I'm Aaliyah Blackburn in for Beer Shell. Soldiers will start mobilizing in September and will serve as support for federal immigration agents. This comes as several state and county agencies agree to partner with ICE.
Camp Atterbury has also been approved to be used as an ICE detention center, with 1,000 beds also being made available at the Miami Correctional Facility as well.
Fox 59 State House reporter Hannah Adamson explains how the troops are expected to assist and how state leaders are responding.
Starting next month, hundreds of National Guard troops will deploy to help federal immigration officials. Border Czar Tom Homan says the goal is to go after sanctuary cities. But it's important to note most of the 19 states on this list, like Indiana, are red states. Still, Homan says the roughly 5,000 ICE deportation officials spread across the country are in need of backup.
ICE is overwhelmed.
Border Czar Tom Homan says roughly 1,700 National Guard troops will deploy to 19 states, including Indiana, to assist ICE officials.
We got almost 700,000 illegal aliens with criminal history that we're trying to find. So National Guards, they're support function. They're a force multiplier.
Homan says the troops will help ICE with transportation and intel, but will not make arrests.
I think the federal government is literally out of control.
State Representative Ed Delaney calling the move a, quote, show of force and a way for the Trump administration to distract from lower than anticipated deportation numbers.
Who wants out-of-state National Guardsmen standing around our street corners doing what? The governor has the option of saying we won't participate. I hope to God he won't participate.
Earlier this month, Governor Braun said Indiana would fully partner with federal immigration authorities. That includes plans to detain hundreds of undocumented migrants at Camp Atterbury and the Miami Correctional Facility.
We're cooperating with ICE here on the worst first.
The mission is expected to last through mid-November. Reporting from Indianapolis.
Mia, all right, we had a good little laugh. I guess you had to go take a break to laugh. What is your thoughts on it appears that the real reason why he's sending troops is Kamal's tinfoil hat thoughts that it's due to ICE. What do you think?
I mean, either way, regardless of what it's due to, it's very unsettling to have National Guard put in that position in various cities all over the country. Tinfoil hat is on, and if you were going to do something crazy, wouldn't you want troops all strategically placed in all of the major cities across the United States if you wanted to control the masses because you wanted to pass potential legislation? I mean, that's what I would do. Why would you not put your own people in all of these various places to subdue protesters and rioters? It just feels very seedy and a little bit sketchy. However, I do understand that if they are there for a positive purpose, whether it's detaining illegal migrants or it's helping with crime, obviously I want all Americans to live in a safe, conducive environment, and no American should live in crime. However, it just feels very they're going to drop something at the end of the year and they have all of these troops strategically placed all over the United States to tamper down resistance. It just feels like that more than it feels like they're trying to help the general public, because let's be honest, when does the United States government ever really help the general public? They always have an angle and they always want something from us.
Can I say something real quick? Can I start playing like background music for people? Is that okay?
Yeah, I told you you're the sound guy.
All right, Mia, I got the next time we do our conspiracy shit, I got the perfect background music for you. Y'all gonna love it. Watch. Cause I love the conspiracies, you feel me? It reminds me of like, X-Files type of shit. I love it.
Yeah,
You can call me Agent Scully. Checking in for duty.
You're slacking, Kamal. You were
Scully.
supposed to play the sounds.
I am slacking. My bad, y'all. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. I'm gonna
Be
have to
crooked, Joe Biden.
You're sleeping on the job. Anywho, Skeptic, what's your thoughts now that the real plan is revealed? Is this the real plan, or is it about crime, or is Mia onto something?
So I see what Gray was trying to say, and I'm going to say this. I think it's interesting. Stop with the sharks. I think it's interesting that they are going after cities that are not even in the top 10 most crime-ridden cities per capita. So like that being Chicago, like my parents live near Chicago. And I'll also say this. So Chicago is like on the border of Illinois and Indiana. Illinois is known to have a lot of sanctuary cities. Illinois pays more taxes than it receives federal taxes into the state. Indiana is a poor state. If you know this area, Indiana is poor. So Indiana receives more federal taxes than it pays out. So it makes sense that they want to work with the federal government because they want, obviously, to get those brownie points because they need the money. So to say that it's because of crime is not true. Like the mayor in Oakland was saying, like the Chicago mayor would tell you, why aren't you, number one, conservatives say that they respect state rights. How are you respecting state rights when the mayor of Chicago is not asking you to come in and help, when Illinois is not asking Trump to come and help with crime? Why are you not going to the states that have the most crime, like Alaska or New Mexico? They have the most crime in the US. Why are you going after these other states that aren't asking you to come in and help? Also, like, Oakland is not even in the top 10, I want to say, most dangerous cities with the most crime in the US. So like it doesn't even make sense from that standpoint. I agree with what Mia was saying. I think that it's a plan to go after those strong cities that could revolt if it is that they wanted to do something. I would also do the same thing. I would strategically place military people to be in those cities where I know this is where they might turn. And Chicago is one of those cities that is a strong, Latin Hispanic city. They have really, really strong community for immigrants and Latinos. So I think that this is being done strategically.
Enzo, what do you think about that? Why is Trump sending troops there? Is it due to crime or due to ICE enforcement?
A mixture of three things: crime, homelessness, immigration. I agree wholeheartedly with what he's doing. I saw it work in DC. You got the residents of DC thanking the president for doing it, bringing down crime in their city. I mean, you want to talk about a 30-year low. I mean, it was, when you really look at the 30-year low, like a 40% decrease, sounds absolutely great. When you look at the raw numbers, there's only 10 murders per year. That was the only difference. I mean, yeah, great job. But when it comes down to what he's really doing, I mean, Chicago is notoriously one of the most violent cities in the United States year over year. They literally call it Chirac for a reason. Let's be honest, guys. And I love the mayor's comments about Trump sending National Guard to Chicago and pretty much instructing the residents there to rise against the National Guard. Good try. Yeah, cool. And then he can actually get away with it legally if they do that by invoking the Insurrection Act. So, I mean, cards are on the table right there. You know exactly what he's going to do, and then you're going to be stuck with them. But when it comes, all right, like I keep saying with this, I agree with it. For crime, for getting the homeless people off the street. I mean, San Francisco is another one. Homelessness is rampant there. And then immigration. Yeah. He said he was going to do mass deportations. They haven't really done that so far. And I say it all the time. I really think that the Trump administration can do a lot better by getting all of these illegal migrants out of the country. I don't agree with any of them. I don't care if you've been here for 20 plus years. You had 20 plus years to at least apply. And then the funny thing is about being here for 20 years, right? It takes anywhere between 7 to 10, let's call it 15, 7 to 15 years to become citizens. So that gives you a 5-year grace period. Why didn't you at least apply? Living off the country. I don't care what they bring in. I don't. They shouldn't be here in the first place. We have laws. Get them all out of here, illegal or not.
Wow. So the question is Trump illegally and constitutionally allowed to send in our troops to do what he's doing? I'm going to play this clip. And it talks about an interesting law going back to the 1800s that answers the question. It's a military act.
What is the Posse Comitatus Act? Imagine a scenario where military forces are called upon to maintain order in civilian areas. This situation raises questions about the balance of power and the role of the military in domestic affairs. The Posse Comitatus Act is a significant piece of legislation that addresses this very issue. Enacted in 1870, the Posse Comitatus Act was designed to limit the powers of the federal government in using the military for law enforcement purposes within the United States. The law prohibits the use of the Army and Air Force to execute domestic laws unless explicitly authorized by the Constitution or an act of Congress. This means that, generally, military personnel cannot be used to enforce civilian laws, ensuring that the military remains separate from civilian law enforcement. The origins of the act can be traced back to the Reconstruction era, a time when federal troops were deployed in the South to maintain order and protect the rights of newly freed African Americans. The use of military forces in these situations led to concerns about potential abuses of power and the impact on civil liberties. As a result, the Posse Comitatus Act was established to prevent the military from becoming involved in civilian law enforcement. There are exceptions to this law. For instance, the National Guard, when operating under state authority, is not subject to the same restrictions as federal military forces. Additionally, in certain emergencies, such as natural disasters or terrorist attacks, the president may invoke specific laws that allow for military assistance in domestic situations. Understanding the Posse Comitatus Act is essential for grasping the relationship between military and civilian authorities in the United States. It serves as a safeguard to ensure that the military does not overstep its bounds and intrude upon the rights of citizens. This balance is vital for maintaining the democratic principles upon which the nation was founded.
So based on that, what are our thoughts? Is what Trump is doing, is it legal? Should it be allowed? Gray, I'll let you go first.
I mean, does it really matter with Trump if it's legal, if it's allowed? Trump is going to do what he wants to do. It's going to go to court. He's going to get sued. Then we're going to go through this whole song and dance, and they're going to say, oh, well, Trump should have done this. Like, I mean, and with this administration, I don't think it really matters, but I don't know if it's illegal or not illegal.
I just played a clip and explained it to you.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that like he's able to, he's of course going over and saying the governor is supposed to control the National Guard. So we know Trump is overstepping. So I mean, like, but what you just played, like, is he breaking the law? And if he is, why isn't anybody doing anything?
That's a good point. Kamal, what's your thoughts? Why isn't anybody doing anything?
Because they didn't do shit during Black Wall Street. Government sent bombs at Black Wall Street. And y'all giving me this information? I'm like, oh shit. In 1878, they put this law because the southern states was using federal troops to fight in the Civil War. Damn. So that means the government was on horse shit.
Did I teach you something?
Huh?
Did I teach you something today?
Hell yeah. And we teaching look at this is a teachable panel right now. We're teaching about sharks eating each other. We teaching about money getting burned is illegal, but all types of shit today. This is like
educational channel.
Yeah, this is the Sesame Street panel right now. We teaching y'all some shit. God
Oh my
damn.
God.
Oh, Big Bird.
Yo. But yeah, it just put in perspective that like at the end of the day, this law or whatever doesn't really get followed. In my opinion, it doesn't get followed.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I just see it as like it's not really getting followed, and I'm just kind of like, we see what's gonna happen down the line. So don't be surprised. I just gave y'all some historical facts, that shows.
That was Skeptic's comment. Skeptic said the sharks. Mia, what's your thoughts? Is this legal? Is it allowed? What do you think based on that clip and the law?
I mean, the law seems to be geared for it to be allowed. I mean, but I guess if nobody sues him or fights it, then anything is allowed at this point in time. I feel like a lot of people, especially on the Democratic side, are just very beaten down, and a lot of them are probably exhausted, and they're just not wanting to fight anymore. I mean, we are in pretty trying times. I mean, the United States is the brokest it's ever been in the history of our country. In almost 500 years of history, we are the brokest we've ever been. Americans personally are the brokest we've ever been. I mean, it's pretty bleak if you look at a financial standpoint. I mean, we are the unhealthiest we've ever been. I feel like a lot of people are just beaten down right now, and there's nobody to fight him on this. So he's going to keep doing whatever he wants to do. I don't agree. I think all it takes is one nervous serviceman and one shot for more shots to come out. I mean, one of the biggest contributors to soldiers' death is friendly fire. So, I mean, we're not going to pretend like we don't accidentally shoot our own or accidentally have misfires or anything like that. So all it takes is one nervous person, one scared person, one misreading of the situation, and then we could have dozens of dead civilians. For what? That's the question. Like, is that something we're willing to take? Because like I said, all it takes is one shot from one person who's scared, and which could be anywhere across the United States. And is that something that we're willing to do? Because
and a lot of these guys are super young, to Mia's point. They're like 18, 19 years old.
Right.
They've never seen combat. They will never see combat. They're actually really not even trained for like these National Guards. They don't go through the same training as the Army. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I get what Mia's saying. And also, Mia, I looked it up and they do not have blanket immunity. However, they technically could be protected by qualified immunity if they're in the active duty. So, I mean, to Mia's point, they would be protected at that point. I mean, would that be the start of a civil war? Because that would be my thought. If they accidentally unalive somebody, what would be America's reaction?
Right, because it's all fun and games when it's all fun and games, and then all it takes is one shot from one person, and then next thing you know, I mean, chaos could ensue, and next thing you know, tons of shots have rang out, and then once the dust settles, we could have who knows how many dead Americans who were just utilizing their First Amendment right to protest or to speak up and use their voice, and now they're dead. And then what do we have? So people don't think about the bad stuff that happens. You only think about the good stuff, but we really get to think about all of the angles because it takes one shot from one person who's scared. That's it.
Enzo, what's your thoughts?
I'm going to keep saying it. I mean, if we had Democratic leaders actually run their cities correctly and run their states correctly, we wouldn't need any of this. You wouldn't have somebody in here shaking up the entire room, shaking up the entire country, making a fuss. I'm somebody that agrees that cities need to be more safe for everybody. Legal migrants should not be in this country. Whatever Trump is doing until it is challenged, it's completely fine in my eyes. There's nothing wrong. If something does pop off, I mean, then okay, cool. We're living in history. We're going to learn from it. We're going to make laws and do things to not have this happen again. We're a country that is 250 years old. There's a lot of things in the Constitution that need to be updated with the times. There are a lot of laws that were enacted over 100 years ago that don't sit with today's society. Things need to be challenged. Things need to be changed. And I'm looking at this as a learning experience, either for the good or for the bad. Because if Trump doesn't do it, then who is going to? Because let's just look at Democratic leadership. They just tiptoe the line. And they don't do anything. I mean, it's funny. Trump comes in office, and most of the stuff that Trump is doing when it comes down to immigration and burning the flag, you had Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, all of them yelling this in the 90s of what he's doing. Oh, same thing with the tariffs. Same thing with the tariffs. Every single thing Trump is doing is what the Democrat leaders were saying in the 90s to do for the country, which would turn the country around. So it's fucking hilarious to me. There's plenty of videos out there, guys. Google's free.
I mean, the Democrats still got Gavin Newsom. Somebody in the chat said
he is a laughing stock. Hold on, just look at the state of California and then tell me you want that for the country.
I know,
record unemployment, record homelessness, jobs leaving, people not wanting to be there, him mocking Trump, him trying to be Trump. Like, come on now. Just come out and say that you are Trump at this point. That's all he's trying to do.
Hey, Eric Clean, like Gavin Newsom would clean up this shit in 2 weeks, bruh.
Yeah, a little wildfire happened. Just burn everything down and take all the money.
Skeptic, what do you think, girl? You think is constitutional what he's doing? I played the clip. I laid the facts out. I said the law. There is a law about this. I didn't just make it up. It's from 1870. What do you think?
I think that if conservatives think that this is okay right now, when Democrats get back in office and when we start pushing forward trans rights and we start saying athletes should go to bathrooms, we should send soldiers down to the states that don't want to follow the policies that are passed. Like, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, because right now they're saying, oh, they're good with soldiers being sent down and basically not respecting state rights. I say the same should apply when the inverse happens, when Democrats get in office and when they start pushing for things that Republicans don't agree with. Send down the National Guard, make them force the states to do the things that they don't want to do, because then they start thinking differently, like, oh, hold on a second. Maybe this isn't right. Maybe this isn't constitutional. Look, conservatives can never think about it from the other side of the coin. They can only look at it when it's benefiting them. But if it was the opposite, if let's say that someone else was in office and we were pushing forward trans rights, for example, and we sent down National Guards to states that didn't agree with the policy, what do you think these people would be saying? Do you think that they would be saying, oh, I agree with National Guards going into states?
No, they wouldn't. So like it's really crazy to me to sit there and listen to the party of small government, of state rights, and then agree with the federal government overstepping their power.
Mm.
Can I say something real quick to that?
Yeah, go ahead, Enzo.
This is what I keep talking about, 80-20 issues. We're fighting to clean up the streets. You're fighting for mental illnesses. That's what you're fighting for. That's exactly what you guys are fighting for, and that's why you guys are not going to be in power anywhere in the near future. Keep going that route. Keep going that route.
Somebody loving a person or wanting to represent something different isn't a mental illness. Let me just say that.
It's a
You're
mental
also
illness.
wrong. I didn't interrupt you. You're also wrong whenever you talked about the stats with Chicago, because I have the FBI crime stats that literally say that Chicago's violent crime rate remains lower than the 2 largest cities according to FBI crime data. It has violent crime rates of about 540 violent crimes per 10,000 residents, in comparison of New York and Los Angeles have violent crime rates of about 671 and 728 per 100,000 residents. Okay, so you, number one, your numbers are wrong.
I never
When you
said it was
say
the
things-
highest.
When you say
I
things
never
that
said it was the
I'll let you
highest.
respond if you just let me.
Oh no, I'm
finish
going to
my-
respond right now.
You
Thank you
always
very much.
interrupt.
So you want to
I
talk
don't
about trans
interrupt you.
issues?
I don't
How
interrupt
is
you,
how
but you
is
always
how
interrupt
is
me.
gender
You
dysphoria, which
always
is
feel like it's
attributed
okay
to
to
people
interrupt me.
of
So I
man,
can
dude,
never
I only
like
stepped
flow
away for
quickly.
like 2 minutes and now we fighting?
No,
no,
so
because I mean, Trackstar over here always wants to say some blasphemous ass shit, and I like to put her on
Literally only
blast for
stepped
it.
away for
you
2
never
minutes,
put
my
me on
guy.
So
blast.
Are we
anyway,
fighting
like
You
I
know
now?
was
what you're
saying,
talking about. You just over talk me, and
I don't
never
know what I'm
sit up
talking
and
about. Okay,
respond.
cool. So how
Over
is
talking
how
somebody
is
doesn't
gender
mean that you put them
dysphoria?
on blast. I know that's how you
How
do
is
it on
gender
TikTok, but
dysphoria
like that's not a real
diagnosed? How is
conversation.
gender
So
dysphoria
it's
diagnosed?
interesting
Oh
because
wait,
nobody can ever hear
oh wait.
anything. Like if you
So
don't
how is
let me
gender
land my
dysphoria
plane, we can't have a
diagnosed?
conversation. It's not even a conversation. It's just you
Okay, cool.
interrupting me every time I talk. So again,
All right,
you're
cool.
wrong on the
So,
Okay,
statistics
are you
on
guys.
done?
Chicago.
Are you
We
done?
ain't talking
You're
about
Are you
wrong.
done?
gender stuff
You're
tonight.
wrong with
All
the
right, cool.
statistics
So
on
About that.
hold
Chicago.
on. Can I just prove that it's a
No,
mental illness? Can I prove that's a
again,
mental
I
illness?
didn't get to
Because
land my plane, but
gender
you
No,
still
because
dysphoria,
interrupt me.
wait, hold on,
which
Enzo.
trans people get at the end of the
We're
day,
not
are
talking
diagnosed
about
by
gender
DSM-5.
stuff. All right,
I
I'm
never
about
get
to
to like make a whole
hold
point.
on, y'all. Hold on. We're not talking about gender stuff. Stick to what we're talking about here.
I got you. I just wanted to say that it was a mental
Yeah.
illness. I'm sorry, skeptic. You're highly uneducated on that. I've actually looked into that because I have somebody
Right.
in my
Okay.
family
Right.
who
And you said
identifies
how many
that
facts?
who was
So we could
diagnosed.
just take your word for it that you
Yeah,
liking
you should,
women is the right
because
way
you have to be
live your
diagnosed by the
life. Right.
DSM-5,
So
which
anything against that is a
diagnoses mental
mental illness is
illnesses.
crazy.
Okay, guys, we're gonna move on. We're going to the last topic. The last topic is gonna be about Trump and these Chinese people that he's letting in. Maybe we'll all agree that he shouldn't let them in. It's 10 out of high. Everybody watching, please hit the like button. Thank you for watching. Shout out to Skeptic. Shout out to Enzo, our top 2 debaters.
600,000 Chinese students to study in the United States. Could you and the Secretary clarify what is the policy on Chinese students in the United States?
Well, we think we're getting along very well with China. And I'm getting along very well with President Xi. I think it's very insulting to say students can't come here because they'll go out and they'll start building schools and they'll be able to survive it. But I like that their students come here. I like that other countries' students come here. And you know what would happen if they didn't? Our college system would go to hell very quickly. You'd have, and it wouldn't be the top colleges. It would be colleges that struggle on the bottom. And you take out 300,000 or 600,000 students out of the system. I like having, and I told this to President Xi, that we're honored to have their students here. Now, with that, we check and we're careful and we see who's there, and Marco wants that. We spoke, we're in the same position. But we have a tremendous college system, the best in the world, nobody even close. That's why China sends them here. And you can call it an industry if you want, but you're talking about millions of people. And I'm honored to have the students from China come here, and they're...
So Trumpy, I love you, but you are backtracking. We are sliding backwards. You just said you ain't care. Am I crazy? Didn't he say he didn't care if they don't send their people here? Now he's saying that he loves them. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Gray, what do you think?
Trump's a communist. He just bought 10% of Intel. I mean, that's socialism, right? So, I mean, like, he did that. Now he's bringing in Chinese immigrants. Hey, I guess y'all should have just put Kamala Harris in there. I mean, with the stuff that Trump is doing.
I mean, he says that we're looking too deep into what he said. Just like Biden. So are you saying he had senile issues like Biden? I'm not understanding your point, bro. Anyways, Kamal, what do you think? 600 students. I mean, that's a spot for an American student. And if we really want to get specific, that's a spot for a Black American student. So what do you think? We got to delineate from the Chinese. I'm just kidding.
Man, this episode comedy. I don't care what nobody say right now. This is hilarious. You feel me? God damn, Greg, you was on the money. He did buy Intel. Oh shit! You called him a communist? God damn! God, hey, Gavin Newsom need to take points from you, bruh. Get to his Twitter quickly, bruh. God damn! Wow. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, I'm thrown off right now because it's a lot that been thrown at me this panel. Sharks, burning, all Trump,
gender dysphoria.
God damn. He said, might as well promote us. You go get communism, at least get it the right way, I guess, right? God damn, man. Wow. Yeah, man. I don't know what Trump talked about here, you feel me? But hey, man, old white motherfuckers got 2 times to be senile. We let Joe Biden do some senile shit every once in a while. We can have Trump do it every once in a while, you feel me? Man, good Lord. He bought that shit in Intel, Gray. I'm gonna talk to you the back end of the show because I got some more questions that I don't want to ask on here. But man, that was an interesting point.
For sure.
Wow. You're right. A Black American student could have went there. He gave
I'm
us.
trying to say, I'm looking out. But real talk, a Black American, white American, Hispanic American, any American student could have went there. And that to me, 600,000 is a lot. I'm sorry.
But I'm gonna be honest about college because I went to college. For most people that go to college, that shit's a scam.
It is.
Dead ass. So I ain't even mad. Let them. You know, are they illegal? Because then we gotta ask that too. Like,
no, they get a visa. That's what he's giving them visas.
Is it the golden visa? Or is
I think so. They're rich. A lot of Chinese people are rich. They're rich enough to get that visa.
Hell yeah, they be buying Gucci and all types of Louis Vuitton on Rodeo Road in Las Vegas, in Los Angeles and shit. Chinese people be balling, y'all. I'm telling y'all right now. So, damn.
Mia, what's your thoughts? Is college a scam?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are some aspects to it that is good. However, I feel like a lot of it is just extra filler. I feel like most of us could have learned how to do our jobs within a year and then 6 months of on-the-job training. I mean, 99% of you learn a lot in nursing school, but the majority that you're being taught comes at 12 weeks when you enter the hospital and you learn hands-on. So, I mean, a lot of it is kind of a scam. I will say, I mean, I'm not for a bunch of Asians coming here and taking our jobs. I guess I'm delineating from China. I mean, and have you guys seen all the news, like the newspaper articles? These Chinese students keep getting busted by the TSA with biological weapons and like psychedelic mushrooms and like bombs and shit. Like it happens all the time at the University of Michigan. You can look it up. Like 5 Chinese, literally specific Chinese students have been busted with biological weapon spores that could, if released to our food, could decimate our crops. Legitimately, Google it. It was the University of Michigan. Literally, like 5 Asian students just got busted this year alone. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on, but Trump is like, this ain't it. These people are coming here to literally ruin us from the inside out. But you can legitimately Google it. It's been multiple Chinese international students
also,
busted.
To Mia's point, I just found an article that said Chinese students were busted for spying on other students. They were told to spy on other students.
See, I mean, they're coming here like they're sleeper cells. They're little sleeper agents coming here, paying cash for their tuition, and we're allowing them here. And they are getting internships all over the country in various places. I mean, it's very, the enemy isn't outside of us, it's now within us. And it's crazy that China is playing Trump and his cronies like that, because this is all a gameplay to them. 600,000 potential sleeper agents are here now, dispersed, because those people share an allegiance and loyalty to China way beyond how we feel about America. They're ingrained from the time they come out the womb to be for China. So, I mean, we have 600,000 sleeper agents here now.
I have a
Yay,
clip
us.
I have a clip that I'd like to play before Skeptic and Enzo respond to Mia's point. I'm gonna play it.
And this should shock no one. So the report came out. It said right now in the United States of America, at one of our universities, there is an organized, orchestrated spy ring. To put this in perspective, when I got here, I said, when I was told that there was a Chinese law in place that required Chinese nationals, including students that come to the United States on visas, and by the way, we take 300,000 Chinese students a year into our universities. There's a law in the books that says they have to provide intelligence gathering and information to the CCP. We also had information in Congress before I even got here that they were setting up these programs to organize spies and push them into our universities using visas. And when I got here and realized that there was no law stopping the visa program, even though we had that information, I immediately launched a bill that would end visas for Chinese students. Now, nothing against Chinese students that want to learn, but if you have a government that is enlisting them, and not just enlisting them, requiring them by law under penalty to be espionage agents when they get here, we cannot keep inviting them into our nation. And so time after time over the last few years, we have found Chinese students with drones, cameras on our military bases, stealing information at our universities, and nothing has been done. So when this report came out 2 days ago, I was not surprised, because we launched this bill and we've been advocating and trying to get someone's attention that there were spy rings here right now. Now, hopefully, we will see some action, not only by the university that's been informed of this, where their students saying it's happening, but by the government to do.
Can I read something real quick that I found, just a simple Google search?
Okay.
It says, the recent cases of Chinese students being arrested for allegedly smuggling biological materials in the United States highlight a troubling trend of covert biological research linked to the Chinese Communist Party. Shangwan Han, a PhD student from Wuhan, China, ding, 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 was arrested for sending 4 packages containing undeclared biological material to a University of Michigan laboratory. She was stopped at a Detroit Metropolitan Airport and admitted to both sending the shipments and lying about their contents. This incident is part of a broader investigation into unauthorized CCP-linked bio research and is part of a national security crackdown on such activities. So these are literally sleeper agents in our country.
I ain't gonna lie, Mia. That sounded like a fire Netflix show.
Oh Lord.
Goodness. I'll watch.
A Skeptic, what's your thoughts? Do you think that this is a real threat? What do you think?
So I had said like a while back, I also want to clarify on something for those that are coming in late. I'm not saying that Chicago doesn't have crime rates. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the attack on Chicago as if it's the #1 city with the highest crime is false. That's what I'm saying. And I have FBI crime statistics to prove it. Anyways, I had said a while back that this whole attack on immigrants and students because of Israel, the ones that were protesting because of everything that's going on, I had said it's going to negatively impact the STEM community. If you went to school for STEM, being me, you know that immigrant students play a vital role when it comes to STEM. Saying that they're taking a spot for a US student is not realistic because US students have the availability to go into those positions, but a lot of US students don't want to go into those positions. So they have the ability to come here. They are restricted. They have to like work so many hours. They have to file all these things. They have to work be students and do so many whatever and go into these like curriculums and stuff. If they don't pass, if they fail, if they don't go to get a master's, I want to say that bachelor's isn't good enough. You have to either get a master's or above. You go back to your country. You lose the rights to be here. So I had said, how vital they were. They're not taking positions of US students because we have plenty of positions for US students. With all the things that were happening with immigration and the students being deported, I had said there's going to be this brain drain. A lot of professors, people in the scientific community, one of my old professors who's a physicist, he was going to come on my TikTok and speak on it because he still teaches now. And he had told me, like, this is a big deal. This is going to become a problem. I feel like this is the repercussion. This is the other side of it, where now they're trying to fix it. They're trying to put a Band-Aid on it because they're realizing how much talent they're losing, and this is not going to work. China is taking everyone in. Other countries like Australia, Canada, they are wanting the students that were coming to America that helped us become the #1 in innovation and help us in research. When it, like, if you're in the scientific community and you've ever been in like laboratories, gone into researching, there's a lot of Australians, a lot of Chinese, a lot of, you know, foreigners that come from these other countries that basically help with innovation. So like we were benefiting from them coming here. We were taking their talent, building on it, and then it was Americanized, right? We have lost that. People don't want to come here. Students are scared to be here. A lot of people that work here basically went back home because they just don't want the smoke. They don't want to get in any problems. So I think that this is what the reaction to that is, and it's not going to fix it.
I have a cool question though, Skeptic. Would it be beneficial to the other countries to get their brain people back to them? Like, does that make sense? The question I'm asking, like their homeland.
I will say this: there is this thought process, like that America, because of Harvard and Columbia and all of these prestige colleges, that we have like the best educators. I don't necessarily think that that's true anymore. But I will say that I think that Canada is going to benefit from this, from people fleeing, because Canada was a country that jumped on it early on. They were like, hey, we'll take you, come over here. China, India, I want to say Australia was another one. And there are people like my professor whose wife is like Romanian, who was like, I'd rather go to another country. US isn't even my home country. I'm just here because she is a chemist. She's a professor who teaches chemistry. So, you know, they were like, hey, you know, all this stuff with immigration's going on, that's scary to some people. She's a resident. She's not American citizen or naturalized citizen, right? So like, you know, it just is going to kind of turn people off that have been sitting here comfortably for years. Why would you want to stay here when you know your talent now? You already got educated in the American system that's supposed to be best. Whether or not it's better is an argument, it's a different, you know, discussion. But people have this idea that America is like the smartest. We have the best teachers because we recruit, we take immigrants from everywhere and we make the best, right?
For sure. We'll go to Enzo because we can't go past 2 hours for the automatic shorts. Enzo.
I'm gonna be like 85 on this and be like, I trust the man. He's got a plan. He's doing something behind the scenes that we don't know about. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with it 100%, but if we're really going to sit here and think that we don't have surveillance on all 600,000 of them that are going to come in here that we're accepting in here is a little bit crazy. In my eyes, I'm looking at this as China's not playing Trump. Trump's actually playing China by having eyes on them to see exactly what they're doing, getting the tuition out of these kids, bringing them into the STEM programs, bringing them into these industries, bringing all these companies that would hire these people back to the United States, pretty much getting the labor off them and cheating China out of it and all these countries that would be taking these people in. That's what I'm looking at this as. I'm looking at it as a benefit, but who really knows? I mean, we know we're in a surveillance state already, like since 2000 with the Patriot Act. We know we have surveillance on pretty much everybody. So there's a reason why some of them get caught, and there's a reason why some of them don't get caught. 2020 election, but I mean, that's another story for another day.
True. I agree. Okay. Mia, you want to do your closing thoughts before you leave?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, I think at the end of the day, everybody should understand that you are protected by the Constitution, and regardless of who's in office or whatnot, you need to, and even if you agree with what they're doing, you need to understand that all it takes is one shot, all it takes is one mistake to happen, and all chaos can come through. So having strategically placed armed men and women and putting the National Guard and putting them in that position to potentially hurt civilians is never the answer. I don't agree with burning flags. However, that is protected by the First Amendment right. And if that's how you choose to express yourself, it is what it is. And yeah, I hope everybody has a good night. Follow me on TikTok. And if you are not subscribed and following the new party, you need to, because we are absolutely hilarious and we do this almost every day.
Facts. Gray, can you bring her down? I'm sorry, I can't do it for some reason. Shout out to Mia. She'll be back tomorrow night. Thank you for coming, Mia. Have a good night at work. But guys, we are wrapping up here. Thank you to everyone for watching. Make sure you hit the notification. Ladies first, so I'm gonna let Skip to go next.
Respond to a comment talking about immigrants just take the money and they send it back to the countries. So the top 3 countries where immigrants send money to is Mexico, India, and China. We are big trade partners with these countries, okay? So much so that American countries have literal like expansions in Mexico, like Ford, for example. And the tariffs, when they were going to apply tariffs on like vehicle parts, it was going to be detrimental to American manufacturing for cars. So like Mexico is one of the biggest trading partners. We have cities in Mexico that are being gentrified by Americans because they're coming in and buying up all of the real estate, and they're making it unaffordable for the average Mexican to live in their own town. So like, it's interesting when I hear people talk about how immigrants are sending all this money to countries when our economies and those countries benefit from each other. So obviously our immigrants' money is circulating back and forth. Mexico being one, China being, obviously we found out how China is so important to the US because trade with China is very important. So our economies are intertwined. Therefore, the money that goes to their country is being circulated back in some way, shape, or form. So anyways, I think you should educate yourself. I love the new party. I like the back and forth. I like us speaking with each other and kind of challenging each other. I enjoyed today. Stay aware of the sharks, Mr. Gray, and follow us on TikTok. Like I always say, don't let anyone trample on your constitutional rights.
Oh man, Gray, can you pull her down? I'm sorry. You're gonna have to do it tonight. It's acting up on my side. Thank you. All right, Kamal, what's your closing thoughts, my man?
All right, first of all, y'all already know I got the new party pinned to the top of the chat on my channel. Y'all go check them out and also hit that notification bell so you know when they go live. You feel me? And then on my end, Kamal Johnson Network, go over there, sub to the channel, and also hit that notification bell so you know when I go live. Today was very informative, very, very funny. Also learned a lot of things. First thing I learned, I guess money is more important than the American flag, because you could burn the American flag, but your ass will go to jail. You burn some money. Second, if I have kids, I'm not letting they ass watch Baby Shark, because I guess sharks and they eat their own little kids. Ain't that about something? God damn. Third, Donald Trump is the greatest president marketer there ever is. You feel me? He knows how to market off things, and at the end of the day, he be executing. Okay, gotta say that. But he might have a challenger on the end. I mean, Gavin Newsom and his comp might, become a challenger. He's doing tweets of bruh and doing all types of other goofy shit on social media and stuff like that. So, hey, who knows? We might get more entertainment down the line. You feel me? Another thing, Eric Clean. I live in San Diego too. Minimum wage should be that much because San Diego is like one of the top most expensive cities in the United States. Damn near the world. It's expensive as hell in San Diego. So yes, stuff gonna be cool out here in Dago, even though the homeless problem is kind of rampant. Yeah, but like I said, today's episode was really good. Learned a lot of things. Learned about the government can't send the military to, you know, on the citizens and shit, but it look like they break that law whenever the hell they want. And then last but not least, I didn't get the shit on anybody in the chat like I usually do, but somebody stepped up to the plate. Taylor Maine said, how can I trust a guy with heart-shaped glasses? Well, I couldn't trust your mom's mouth to be great, but I still gave it a try. Anyway, everybody else in the chat, shout out to y'all. John, thank you for the compliments, bro, for the shirt and everything like that, and the glasses.
Oh
And I'm about to be out of here. I'm gonna let Enzo speak. I think secretly Enzo mailed that MAGA hat to me without me telling me. So I'll be receiving that soon.
Oh, he gave it up
Bro,
for
I
you.
got
That's
I
why
got
he's not
6.
wearing it.
I got 6 now. I got you.
Uh-oh.
Got another one coming in the mail tomorrow. This was a great episode. Brad, thank you for coming. We spoke about a lot. It was very educational. Yes, it's great. I'm gonna talk on what everyone else thought. You taught us about sharks, man. I didn't know that at all. Not. I knew about like I don't even know what an animal it is. There's another animal that does the same thing. But anyway, when it comes down to burning the American flag, like I said, that is the hill that I'm going to unalive on. That should not be protected under the First Amendment whatsoever by any means, anywhere. You can't burn another country's flag in the United States, so hold that same energy. National Guard, like I'm going to keep saying it. Democrats, you guys need to do better. Wouldn't be needed if you just took care of your states, actually combated crime, actually did things to help out your people. When it comes to China, and I'm going to say it's a surveillance state. They're going to be watched. I think Trump's playing them at the end of the day, but I mean, who knows? I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll be the first person to say it. That's all I got.
For sure. So I want to pull up the comment. Thank you, everybody, for liking the shark comment. It's infantile cannibalism is a phenomenon where embryos consumes their siblings within the womb or egg. So I'm glad I was able to teach somebody a lot. I definitely like animals. I'm one of the people that watch Animal Planet. I'll say, because we mainly talk about National Guard stuff, I was in the National Guard, and a lot of people that get in the National Guard, they're in it really for college money. They really work regular jobs. For me, I was in college when I was in National Guard. I would have been super upset other than the money to get to go deploy. So unless they happy about the money, I mean, you do get paid extra to work the extra hours. But I do feel like we're not actually talking about actual people that have to do this, because it may be something. It is people that have like good jobs and then now they can't work their job. But like we always say on the new party, always vote.
Oh, Lord. Okay. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to end with this. Thomas Jefferson, one of our founding fathers, said it best. The God who gave his life gave us liberty at the same time. Pretty much our founding fathers thought it was important to have our rights be highlighted. So I'm going to go with skeptic on this. Don't let them trample on your constitutional rights. The country was founded on some inherent rights, the right to free speech, the right to liberty, the right to peace, the right to wellness. And if the government is trampling on that, then I think we should use our voices and speak up. But we will be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. new. We have a big show coming for you. Moving forward, we are starting back with lunch with the new party. It will be every day, daily at 12 p.m. We have a new cast member coming, Andre Williams, and we also will have Secret Service Sam coming and joining us. So he'll be back with us Thursday afternoon. But tomorrow we will be talking about Cardi B. Cardi B took the stand today. Many people didn't know that she has an active trial, so we will be breaking that down. I saw some people in the chat excited about it, so shout out to everybody. Definitely come back tomorrow. Shout out to Kamal, shout out to Enzo, shout out to Mia, shout out to Skeptic. Thank you so much for our team. God bless and good night.